So hi Patrick, can you tell me your name and your role?
So I'm Patrick Lam. I am principal consultant of a small consulting firm based in Singapore called Straits Knowledge. I'm also chair of the Singapore chapter of the International Society for Knowledge Organization and a visiting professor at Bangkok University.
Great. And your keynote today addressed huge change in the librarianship role. In your view, what's changed and what's stayed the same?
I think the core disciplines and ethos of librarianship are the same. I think what has changed radically is the institutional pressures upon our, not just librarianship, but other knowledge-related disciplines, and the way in which knowledge is used in society, and the way in which knowledge use and information use is corrupted in society by these pressures. And whereas in the past we've been very stable, static, process-driven, transactional roles within our occupational silo, librarianship, we now need to reach out and make connections and be capable of learning from our other knowledge-related peers, the teachers, the influencers, the researchers, the public health officials, economists who are thinking about knowledge as a public good. All of these people we need to be interacting with and figuring out how we adapt what we do to this new changing environment.
Okay. CILIP recently carried out a review of its ethical framework. How important is ethics in knowledge management?
I think it's really important. So knowledge management, actually, people in knowledge management tend to come from a wide variety of backgrounds, not just from librarianship. So they can come from IT, they can come from information management, they can come from decision sciences, they can come from organizational development, learning and development, and all sorts of backgrounds. And so having an ethical framework would provide some sort of set of guiding principles for how difficult decisions are made, create some kind of common ground for decision making and common action. One of the things that we faced over the last 20-25 years in knowledge management is our inability to forge consensus around core things, and having a code of practice, an ethical code of practice that we all shared, would be really important for us to be able to do that.
Okay. So CILIP's piloting a knowledge management chartership program. What value do you see in having a chartership specially for knowledge management?
I think librarianship and the information professions in general have a lot to contribute. They have a lot of inherited knowledge around how to work productively with knowledge and information and communities and audiences. And they're also quite well developed in terms of having professional boundaries and professional standards and a set of professional competencies. So extending that experience into the knowledge management space, I think, creates a point of stability and a point of reference that the rest of us in the knowledge management community can learn from and benefit from. Great.
And without you fighting me or setting me on fire, what is knowledge management? Or alternatively, why is it so difficult to find?
Right. So there's a joke, a very in-joke that people outside knowledge management wouldn't often get, was that if you put 5 knowledge managers in a room and ask them to define knowledge management, you'll get 7 definitions of knowledge management. So it's a kind of a symptom of the fractured and very disunited nature of our discipline. But it's also a symptom of the fact that the really interesting knowledge use in any organization, or even in individuals, is a function of its appropriateness to its context. So if I am a very experienced engineer who knows how to build a dry dock for a ship, I will only be able to surface that knowledge and activate it when we're building the dry dock, right? And then the knowledge management has to be around that activity. It has to be leveraging my experience and transferring it to the people who need to perform that action. If I am, in that 20-year interval between the first dry dock and the second dry dock, and I'm doing routine maintenance and standards and guidance and so on, my knowledge management is going to look very, very different. It's going to be around standards, it's going to be around engineering tools, it's going to be around making sure that all of the engineers are working to common practices. So the nature of knowledge and knowledge management is extremely context sensitive, which means if you're not just going to come out with a motherhood statement, when you define knowledge management, you have to define it for the context to which it's going to be applied. And that's why you have so many different definitions.
Knowledge is like the name of the wind, it changes from place to place.
Beautiful. Yes, that is a beautiful quote. Where is it from?
It's from a book called The Name of the Wind.
The name of the... I'm going to look it up. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.